Right, so let's get into it. What makes a good captain?
Oh, good question. Just obviously being under a captain as well. I think being a good captain, you have to lead your team from the front. I think you have to be that person that liaises between coaches and players, kind of be the middle person, but also be that support for teams as for your teammates as well. I think that's really important in terms of, everybody goes through different experiences before a match or in training. And I think a captain is there to be there for that person and get them energized and jived up for the game. But then also, again, being that support for them, between that middle person between them and the coaches as well. So the coaches can liaise with the captain and obviously get viewpoints as well from both sides. So it's a real challenge, but it's one that I enjoy, and it's a real privilege.
What is your style of leadership? What do you bring to the team as a leader?
Oh, good question. I hope I'm one of those people. I'm quite relaxed in terms of I want to be that person to help them. I watched a documentary on Michael Jordan, and people would say he's a bit of a tyrant in terms of the way he went out there and spoke to his players and got them ready for obviously 6 NBA titles. And for me, I'm not that type of person. I want to be that support person that they can come to and chat to. But also be that person to get them ready and engaged for the game. And I think the girls see that in me at Storm. So I think that's potentially what they see in me in terms of my loyalty to the club, my loyalty to the girls, and just getting that self-belief out of them as a captain, and giving them that strong mentality to go out there and win.
There is my main sport is hockey.
Right.
Field hockey, and as a hockey coach, who's written a few books, and in one of the books he's coached men and he's coached women at a very high level.
Right.
And what he was saying was, with men back in the 80s or 70s, you could be at the very least, you could be a bit more direct, but women wanted a bit more of a conversation.
Yes.
About something. And this has been brought up in a couple of other episodes for this series. I've interviewed one of the leadership group members, one of the senior players of the Uruguayan women's hockey team, korfball as well, where it's another net.
Yeah, I love korfball. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's mixed gender, and one of the male leaders was saying, when I first was a captain, I was very dictatorial, and the women in the team went, you can't leave me like this. That doesn't work with me. Do you think is that true? Is that what you're trying to describe?
So I find that really different. So actually, there's lots of personalities, and this is both international and at Super League level as well, depending on what team I've got. But you actually have a range of players that prefer that more direct approach. So if they're not playing well or they need a command word to get them back into the game, they prefer that direct. And they're the players that I know I can do that to, and I can push those boundaries. Whereas there are other athletes within the group whose personality suits a more softer approach to get them back into the game and refocused. So I wouldn't say it's very like sex dominant in terms of, men prefer direct, but and women don't. I actually find in women's sport, I think it's more personality, and your traits and personality dictate how you want that feedback. So I find myself trying to learn the behaviors of each of my teammates, so I know, if they're on a bit of a spiral, I can then get them back in with certain command words or what they want to hear, because you'll have some players that prefer that subtle approach, come on, you can do it, or they just want some quick, precise feedback, whereas I've got other players in my group. So for example, Karen Bailey is the goal shooter for Surrey Storm, and she prefers that more direct approach, like, come on, get your head in this game, that's too many errors, get back in. So I find it's more to do with personality.
So it's knowing your group and slightly to each person.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes a good captain, is knowing every individual, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and knowing their personality and where you can push them and what boundaries you can push them to as well.
Just so staying on this theme slightly, can you give me an example of an issue that you've come across that you've dealt with between different personality types?
Yeah, so prime example is the shooting circle. So I've been in a situation where, and this is in training, so it's good to practice stuff in training before you then hit the big time court. So for example, there'll be some pressurized drill, and let's say the pressure's on the shot. Sometimes some of the girls want to be spoken to on their shot. So for example, yeah, breathe, you can do this, like a command words. I remember one player, Rhea Dixon, who now plays for Leeds Rhino. She was previously at Surrey Storm, but she preferred something like chill before the shot, or calm. I can't quite remember what it was. It was so many years ago in terms of what her word was. Whereas someone like Frankie Wells, who's in the team now, don't prefer anything. So I remember she turned around to me and said, "Yas, don't speak to me on my shot because I'll miss it." And that's like, okay, yeah, fine. So before, I obviously didn't know that about Frankie. So every time it got to the shot and I was like, confident, you've got this, she would then miss the shot. And I remember her turning around and being like, "Yas, don't speak to me on my shot because I'll miss it." And I was like, okay, yeah, fine. And then now I know that's what she prefers. Whereas someone like Sophie Kelly, who's 16 and just coming into the squad and starting to get that full that court time, needs talking to, and needs help and support during the game. And the coaches obviously relay that as well. So it's been those situations where it's just, yeah, getting to know them as players and what they prefer.
Right. So why is the captain so important? What does the captain do that nobody else can do?
I think to be a captain, I think they bring the team together. So they're like the final jigsaw puzzle in the middle. And when you get that feeling, you're like, yes, I finally completed it. It's that last piece. I think the leader, being a captain, you are that final puzzle piece, and you're the thing that keeps the team together. You're the person they come to for support. You are the messenger between both coaches and players. And you're the person that leads from the front. So you have to kind of be inspirational to your group. I guess it's kind of having those high professional standards and those high expectations of yourself. And just being a good person, just like a wonderful person as well. And, I hope if you were to ask anybody in the Surrey Storm team, what is Yas like as a captain, I'd hope that they would say, I'm supportive, I'm there for them, I'm the energy of the team, keep the team all together in really difficult, pressurized situations, and someone that they also look up to in terms of how much hard work I give and the dedication I give to the team as well. And I think that is what a real captain is all about.